CVS haul for this week. I'm so glad that you can join me again. I do want to apologise, this video is of course a little bit late this week. I haven't been feeling too well, so that's why it is a little bit late in the day, but I hope that you can still kind of, you know, you find this entertaining, you can sit down with like a snack or a drink or something and, you know, enjoy it anyway. I am joined by the most beautifulest copper mug which I got for Christmas. I have an obsession with copper, which I think my family kind of get by now, and my auntie got me this. My auntie! My auntie-in-law, but my auntie got me this beautiful copper mug. Oh, it's everything! So I thought I would pour my drink and enjoy it in this cup while we do this video. So this particular week, it wasn't that great. I mean, we were, I believe, into our second week of being a bit couponless. Obviously next week is the week where we actually start getting coupons again. And so this week we did have to kind of, you know, get on by without any coupons and just going from the sources that we actually have available to us, such as coupons.com and other means of getting coupons over the internet, that sort of thing. So I hope that you were still able to pick up some great deals. This week I actually had $45 worth of extra books available to me or at my disposal to use on my out of pocket, and that's quite a large amount of extra care books. My personal kind of the area in which I like to be around in terms of having extra book the amount of extra care books that I like to have at any one time is around $30 to $35. So I decided this week that I was actually, because I didn't get a percentage, I didn't get a spend off a certain amount. It's the first time that's happened to me, so I kind of had to just work with it. Because I did have a lot of extra care books, I just used that additional $10 between $35 and $45 as kind of like a $10 or $40 coupon, if that makes any sense. So even though there were extra care books that I had available to myself, I just decided to use those as if I had gotten like a $10 off a transaction purchase coupon. So I just want to kind of say that out to you right now, just so you're aware of that. I was obviously able to use that additional $10 that I had over $35 worth of extra care books to kind of absorb some of the out-of-pocket cost on some of these items. I guess, you know, if I'd have had a 30% or any percentage off coupon, it would have helped this week. I know maybe a few of you have got that coupon, and I know that based on my shopping list this week, I thought I had a 20% off, but I didn't have a 20% off. It expired, so I wasn't able to use that. So I get, you know, like I said, I just had to kind of work with what I got. But I also did include on that shopping list, if you received a 20% off, you received a 30%, I did include the calculations for those as well, just so they were still there if you needed them, you know, just to bear those kind of values in mind. So I hope that did help you. I hope you were able to pick at least some of the deals off that. Those were the ones that, again, like, most stood out to me this week, so I included those. So yeah, the deals this week, they weren't really fabulous for me because I didn't have a percentage off coupon, but I was able to use, like I said, that $10 extra care books as a kind of transaction coupon for me to absorb some of the out-of-pocket cost on some of these items. We had a really big money maker on one particular item, and I'll go into that into more detail when we get to that item. But I still managed to get quite a few bits and bobs, and I also got 29 extra care books back at the end of kind of my purchase. So I still have $30 basically pretty much for next week to you know, to grab some great deals when we get our coupons back. And I also should be due another $5 extra care book in terms of the beauty club, so that should bump me back up to $35, so I'm not worried about that. I think once you get to a certain amount of experience doing this, you don't tend to be so worried when you go lower in terms of extra care books. As I guess when I started doing this, you know, it was like the more extra care books I can build up, the better, because then I know I've kind of got like a safety net. But I think when I'm at this stage now, I feel like I can kind of, you know, some weeks I can use a few more extra care books even if I'm not getting them back, if that makes any sense. So yeah, let's get straight into the haul. I hope you had a lovely week, and I hope you managed to pick up some of the deals that I did as well. So let's get on with the haul. Or, and I realised this actually when I was editing last week, if I do let's get on with the haul, it looks like I'm going backwards when you actually see this in person, because it's like I'm doing it this way, but on screen it's the opposite way, so it looks like I'm wanting to go back in the video. So this week I'm going to go the right way, so let's get on with the video. So the first item that I picked up this week was Uracin. I hope I'm saying that right, I think I am. This was obviously in the body lotion or like skincare aisle, and I decided to go for 2 different products actually in this particular deal. Now this week on Eurocin we actually had a lovely promotion in the weekly ad, and that was to spend $20 and we would receive 10 extra care bucks back in return. So I thought this was a great deal. I was actually in another CVS location actually earlier on in the week. I wasn't actually planning on doing my couponing trip, I just found myself there like you do. And I actually was looking down the Eurocin aisle, and I actually found some peelies for Eurocin. I knew I wanted to pick this deal up, so I definitely made use of these. Now these are actually save $3 off now, so as you can see they're a peelie. If you don't know what a peelie is, it's basically a coupon that is actually already attached to the item in store that you can peel off and use on that particular item at the register. So these products actually all had these save $3 now coupons on the front of them. And these were good actually for a number of different products. I'm going to peel this one off because this is actually a spare one that I had, to let you know what these were actually useful for, because these were on quite a few different products in the Eurocin range, but you will actually find that if you open these up and read them, that they're actually not good for all of the products that they're stuck to, which I don't particularly like when they do that, because if you see a product that says like save now stuck on the product, because that peelie basically should be taken off by the cashier at the cash register so that you can save $3 right on that particular product. But for some bizarre reason, sometimes these are stuck on products that they're actually not valid on, which can always cause a little bit of a confusion at checkout, and I don't particularly like that because it's almost like a false sense of advertisement, because you're actually not saving $3 on that particular product. So let me just read out what you could save $3 on in this particular case. So this was save $3 on any 1 Eurocin body lotion or cream product, 13.5 ounce to 16 ounce or 16.9 ounce. Or you could get $3 off a daily hydration SPF 30 body cream, or eczema body cream which was 8 ounces, or a skin calming cream which was 14 ounces. Now these are actually stuck on the facial moisturisers as well, which were I think about 4 or 5 ounces, and obviously they're not included in this particular peelie, which like I just said there I don't like, because you know you could be kind of confused into thinking that you could use it on that and you would pick that up maybe. Anyway, just to let you know, bear that in mind. Sometimes I do like to peel those off just to double check, or like you can peel them off and not take them completely off the product so they're still left for somebody else to be able to use, but just do bear that in mind. You may just want to double check peelies sometimes because they're actually not valid on the products which you think they are valid on, which is unfortunate. But anyway, so I personally went for the Eurocin Daily Replenishing Sensitive Skin Body Lotion, and this was, let's have a look, this was the 16.9 fluid ounces, which was obviously included in that coupon. This is a light formulation, so it's not too rich, which I actually kind of prefer. I sometimes think that it doesn't kind of stick on your skin for too long. I hate that feeling when you put body cream on and you just feel sticky for ages, so I do prefer lotions that are a little bit more watery in texture, if that makes any sense. And this says that it also includes sunflower oil, an enriched formula which moisturises and replenishes for softer, healthier looking skin. This is obviously a great skin lotion if you are kind of not allergic necessarily, but if fragrances within lotions actually cause your skin to become a little bit irritated. And there's quite a few body lotions out there on the market which actually are supposed to be for sensitive skin but then are full of fragrances, and I just find them not to be that good. But this one is fragrance free, so that's great. So I picked this one up in my store. This was $11.99, and the one I'm going to show you now also, which I picked up to make up to that $20 threshold, was also $11.99. I picked up the Daily Hydration Moisturiser and Sunscreen. This has SPF 30 in it. Again, it's for dry skin and it's for the fragrance-free cream. This was 8 ounces, so again it was allowed via the coupon or the peelie that was on it. Now obviously, you know, it's not very sunny this time of year, but I just thought, oh, this would be a great product to pick up for the summer next year. Obviously, you know, you can always use sunscreen in the summer here, and yeah, I just thought that would be great to have on hand, so I don't need to kind of, you know, have it next year, or need it next year and not have any available to me. So I thought that was a great opportunity to pick this up. So obviously I'll just keep this stocked until I need it, which is you know, one of the things when you are couponing that you should be taking into account. So the spend threshold on this was spend 20, get 10 extra care bucks back. So you can kind of be within you can be within the 98% rule on that, because it's a spend a certain amount and get a certain amount of extra care books back. So I believe the 98% rule would allow you to spend anything above or equal to $19.60. In my store, like I'm going to mention probably a few times during this video, a lot of the products were actually a little bit more expensive than I had anticipated. It was a little bit of a, well, I hadn't actually been to the CVS before, but it was in a little bit more of a not a luxurious area. I don't know how to say it, but basically the prices were a little bit higher than I had anticipated. So these were actually $11.99 each in my store, and I believe online these were $10.99, so I was expecting these to be a little closer to that value, I guess, in store. But yeah, I had to spend an additional $2 here, so these came to $21.98. $21.98. You see? You can tell I'm not quite right this week, because I'm making stuff up. $10.99 and $10.99 is $21.98. Okay, so we were getting 10 extra care books back from this deal. I also had 2 of these $3 peelies, which I said make sure you look out for these if you are going to pick this deal up in store, because these are really beneficial to this deal. So that was getting you $6 off. So our out of pocket here would have been $15.98, and our total out of pocket would have been $5.98. Okay, so the next product that I picked up this week, and this is the first of the cosmetics purchases that I made this week. Now, I know last week we had a load of cosmetic purchases, and I know in the weekly ad this week there was still quite a lot that were actually still mentioned. It wasn't kind of beneficial for me to pick up any more than I did this week, just purely because I didn't have the coupons available or the excess amount of extra care books or money makers in other products to be able to cover the cost of getting more cosmetic purchases. But I did pick up 2 different cosmetics brands, the first one being Physicians Formula. This particular deal this week was actually a great one in terms of the extra care books we were getting back for the price of the item that we could potentially pick up. This was a spend $10 and get 7 extra care books back. Now, in the first CVS location that I went to and that I said I randomly found myself in at the beginning of the week when I wasn't couponing, I kind of scouted around to see which different products that I could potentially pick up, and I did find these and the eyeliner. This is the eyeliner. The mascara, I can't remember off the top of my head what that was, but I did mention it in my shopping list at the beginning of this week, so do check that out for the other option. I know there's a few products from Physicians Formula that do fall around that $10 mark, so I went and saw this product and I thought, oh yeah, I'd really like to try an eyeliner. I actually haven't got on with eyeliners for a while, and I haven't actually used any for a while, so I thought, oh, maybe I'll give another eyeliner a go just to see, you know, if they actually work for me this time. It's been a few years, so I thought I'd pick this one up. This is the Physicians Formula Argan Wear. This is the Ultra Nourishing Argan Oil Kohl Kajal eyeliner, and I just thought this would have been like a nice one to pick up and try. If you've seen the packaging on this one, it looks so beautiful. It almost reminds me, I think it's the YSL lipsticks. I can't remember off the top of my head, I could be wrong on that, but it definitely reminds me of the more luxurious packaging that is with like higher end brands. But yeah, obviously it's not, but I just thought this like nice little tassel and the gold kind of packaging was like a really nice touch. So yeah, I went for this one. Now in that store that I mentioned at the beginning when I went to check and scout things out, this was actually $9.99, and as was the mascara as well. However, in this store location, like I mentioned before, a lot of the prices on the items in this store were a little bit higher than I was expecting. This was actually $11.99 in my store, and I was like, oh, should I still pick it up? Maybe that's not a great deal, maybe that's going to kind of have a negative effect on the other things that I pick up. But in actual fact, I just thought, you know what, let's get it. I'd wanted to get this anyway. So this was $11.99 instead of $9.99, so it was a $2 difference between the price I was expecting to pay and actually did pay. We were still getting those 7 extra books back, which was obviously a bonus. So our out of pocket for this product was $11.99, and so our total for this product was $4.99. If you had picked up the $9.99 product, whether it was the eyeliner or whether it was the mascara, obviously you would have got a better deal on this and you would have only been paying $2.99. So the next makeup item that I picked up this week was from the Maybelline range. Now this had been absolutely like demolished in my store. There must have been so many people breaking through the Maybelline kind of like product stand because it was an absolute mess, and I was trying to find the cheapest priced item to take part in this deal, because this week it was a buy 2 and get 5 extra care books back. Now on the Maybelline as well, because it is buy 2, you obviously probably want to find the cheapest products that you possibly can, because if you find the cheapest products, then you're going to be spending less out of pocket and you're still going to be reaching that buy to limit to be able to actually get the 5 extra care books back. So it's all about making the deal the best for you, whether it's a preferred product or not. You know, that's something that you do need to bear in mind. If you do want to get a product that you would actually prefer in the long run, I guess you've got to kind of weigh that benefit with, you know, the out of pocket spend. So just bear that in mind. Now for me, this was actually, and for everybody, I just want to say it wasn't on the whole Maybelline range, it was on the Maybelline eye range. So just bear that in mind. If you picked something else up like a foundation or a lipstick, this wasn't included in this deal. This was purely on the eyewear range. So this was anything like eyeliner, eyeshadow, that sort of thing, mascara. So the cheapest product that they do are the eyeshadow singles. And so I actually picked up the last 2 lonely eyeshadows that were left on the cosmetics stand, and I picked up these 2 colours. They weren't necessarily my first pick for colours, but I do actually think these ones go quite well together, and they are quite like a wintry, they're quite wintry colours. So this one I got was New York Silver. This is like a really kind of, it looks more like a matte silver, but yeah, it's probably more of a matte silver. It doesn't have that much sparkle in it, but it's got just enough where I think it'll give like a nice frosty look to it. And I also got this one, which is Navy Night, so this is just like a deep blue. So yeah, I thought that these ones both go together quite well. And if I can't find a use for them, because I don't usually wear eyeshadow that often, I can donate them to a friend, put them in a present for somebody, or I could always sell them on eBay. Obviously I'm not going to open them and use them, so as long as it's not opened makeup, these are totally fine to sell on eBay. So these particular eyeshadows were $4.49 each. I believe these may have been a little bit more expensive, just like a lot of the other things that I picked up, but I definitely know they weren't over $5, so they must have been close to $4.49. So I still picked these ones up. So together these came to $8.98. This is just like the approximate calculation that I've got down, because I know it wasn't over $5, so we'll go with the fact that they were $4.49 each. So these came to $8.98. We were getting that 5 extra care books back, so my out-of-pocket spend was going to be $5.98. Oh, I do just want to bear it, there we go, that's where the money is coming off, and I think this is where you kind of need to get an idea of if you can get the lowest out of pocket for the products that you do actually buy, you can really get a good deal. So for this particular offer, I actually, because we just spent the money on that Physicians formula, this was a spend 10, but I also had a spend $15, get $3 off. So get $3 off a $15 cosmetic purchase. Now it was across anything, so it didn't have to necessarily be in one deal. So we were already spending like $11.99 in my case for that eyeliner, and so I'd already spent $11.99 towards that spend 15, get 3 off. Now this was on any cosmetics purchase, and I believe it's the usual one where it includes lips, eyes, face, all that sort of thing. And so on this particular deal, we were also spending another $8.98, which puts us above that $15 spend threshold to get 3 off. So in this particular deal, I took that 3 off 15 into account because I could use it on this deal. So yes, my running total for this was $8.98. The extra books I was getting back were $5. But my out of pocket for this, because I had that 3 off 15, actually brought it down by $3, and so these actually only came to $5.98 out of pocket, which is just a little over buying one on its own. And then when we were getting those 5 extra care books back from taking part in this deal and buying 2 of them, that obviously gave me a total of 98 cents, which basically works out at just under 50 cents per eyeshadow. Now when you're spending almost $5 on an eyeshadow and you're getting them for 50 cents, that's a really good deal. So yeah, this was one of the deals where we were really spending very minimal out of pocket, and where we could basically afford to kind of take some of that outstanding pocket back, because this wasn't, like I said, a big spend product. So yeah, let's move on to the next deal that I picked up. Right, so we're almost onto our last deals for this week. There was a deal this week which was great to pick up. This was on the Cadbury Premium pouches. Now these Cadbury Premium pouches, I actually haven't seen these before, but I never really go into kind of the candy section in CVS, so that doesn't kind of surprise me. I picked up these 2 pouches. These were on sale for $3 when you bought 2, so these were $3 each, so this came to $6 in total. I went for the salted caramel dark chocolate with sea salt and caramel because I love salted caramel, I love anything caramelly and chocolatey, so I picked these particular ones up. I know there was also a mint one available at my store, and I am going to kind of insert a little clip here so you can see where to maybe possibly find them in your store.
So the Cadbury Premium pouches are actually in this aisle. It's where the regular candy is, so not where the Christmas candy is, and mine was actually right next to these Turtles chocolates. My store only had the Cadbury Royal Dark with the salted caramel, and it had the Cadbury Royal Dark with the creamy mint. It is actually these PD stickers on these creamy mint ones, so if you don't manage to get the $1 off one coupons from coupons.com, you can always use these on the purchase instead. It won't be that much of a moneymaker. In fact, I don't think it will be a moneymaker, but I think you'll still end up spending 25 cents for 2 packages, which is obviously
These might be in a few different locations, so do have a look around your store to make sure they are there. You may find that or you might think they're out of stock, but they're just on a kind of like an end display or in a different aisle where you wouldn't necessarily find them, so do check that out. Yeah, so I picked these two up, so I was spending $6 on these together. We had 2 coupons we could print from coupons.com. They were the same coupon, and this was a $1 off any one premium pouch bag, 5.5 ounces or more. And I also had a few different checkout 51 offers that I could take part in as well. I had a $1 off any one premium pouch bag, and there was a few different flavours which were mentioned at checkout 51. You just need to make sure that you favourite that deal, and therefore you can use it. And you could do this a limit of 5 times, so it just meant that when you uploaded your receipt to checkout 51 and you selected that deal, it just meant that you had to up your limit to 2, so that you would get the $2 back for each bag that you bought, because obviously we're buying 2 in this deal. And if you bought two of these particular bags, you would also get a 50-cent bonus, and I believe this 50-cent bonus gets given to you either on Friday this week or next Wednesday when the deals reactivate. I can't quite remember, but if I find out, I will insert it down in the description below, just so that you bear that in mind. You won't get that straight away. And we also had a CVS personalised coupon, which everybody should have got from the red box, and that was a $2 off any 2. And I believe this was off Hershey's, Cadbury, and a few different other chocolate brands. And so basically our retail value for these products was $6 because they were both on sale for 3. We weren't getting any extra care books back. When we took the coupons we had available to us, we had an out-of-pocket of $2, and then our total actually became a 50-cent moneymaker, because even though we were spending $2 out of pocket, we had $2.50 worth of checkout 51 rebates, which would be going to the next deal I'm going to talk about is the Colgate Total single deal. And this week, if we spent $10 on any of these products, we would receive 5 extra care books back. Now, this was also a spend a certain amount, so you were eligible to use the 98% rule on this particular deal, which would have allowed you to have spent $9.80 or more to be able to still benefit from this deal and get those 5 extra care books back in return. This week I did a very similar deal to, I believe it's actually the same deal that I did from a number of weeks ago. I mean, you can go back to that video and watch that deal as well, but this is essentially going to be the same thing, and this is to get as close as possible to that $10 without going too much over. I personally couldn't find a deal where it warranted me to spend less than $10 and spend within that $9.80 or over. I just couldn't find a deal that got me into that price bracket, so I just went with the deal that I usually pick up when I take part in this promotion, and that is to pick up the Colgate Total Daily Repair mouthwash. We had a coupon from the Colgate.com website this week, and that was a 75% off coupon, which we could use on any mouth rinse or any mouthwash that was 480ml or over. This one is 500ml, so that's totally acceptable to use this coupon with. There was also the Pro Shield as well, which you could use or you could pick up and use that coupon as well. That's totally your preference. I just think this is a lot less minty, and I'm not too much of a fan of overly minty flavours, so I picked this up because I think it's a little bit more subtle. And I also picked up this Colgate 360 toothbrush. This is a toothbrush that I pick up pretty much every time I take part in this deal, because this toothbrush is $5.49. This is one of the manual adult toothbrushes, which I got in soft, and these are $5.49, which seems an extreme amount to pay on a toothbrush when we usually get these things sort of for free, but it just is basically the best kind of 2 products to put together to be able to get to within that, or close to that $10 threshold to take part in this offer. On this particular occasion, I did actually just check this product like a minute ago before I did this video, and noticed that by accident I actually picked up the 360 whole mouth clean toothbrush instead of a Colgate 360 total toothbrush. And I think because I'm always picking up this toothbrush in this deal, I just assume they're all 360 total toothbrushes. And of course, because this was a Colgate Total promotion and this wasn't a Colgate Total toothbrush, I actually then just double checked my extra care books because I thought automatically I'd been given the 5 ECBs from this deal, but I hadn't. I am missing them. So that $29 I mentioned at the beginning that I said I received back in ECBs this week should have actually been 34 extra care books. It's nothing to worry about. It just means that I do tomorrow need to take this back and exchange it for a $5.49 toothbrush, which is a part of the 360 Colgate Total range, as opposed to this whole mouth clean range. I believe, I think I just mentioned there that we had a 75% off coupon off an advanced manual adult toothbrush, and this coupon still worked on this product, so that was totally fine. However, we didn't get the 5 ECBs back, so I did end up buying this toothbrush but then not getting the ECBs back, which obviously is kind of a little bit redundant. So I will be going to swap this toothbrush. If you do, or if you do this deal and you have made a similar mistake, or you do make a similar mistake, just bear in mind it doesn't require you, or you aren't required to take both things back. Obviously you totally can if you don't want to just take part in this deal anymore, but I don't need to take this mouth rinse back. It's not going to affect my deal. As long as I take this back, switch it for a 360 and just print another coupon, because of course we're not going to get that back, then the 5 extra care books should then print out for that deal. Obviously the deals that you take part in promotion wise obviously are all recorded on your extra care book rewards program account, so that will be in the system that you've already spent the money in terms of the mouthwash towards that $10, and then when I switch that toothbrush to the $5.49 Colgate Total toothbrush, then that should be added onto that mouth rinse purchase and the $10 threshold should be reached, and therefore that receipt should print out a 5 ECBs. This is one of those things I think that when you've been couponing for quite a long time, I think you just get kind of stuck in your ways and you start to think that what you're picking up is what you always pick up, and you kind of forget to check some of the more basic aspects of the products that you're picking up. So obviously I saw 360, I saw this was a $5.49 toothbrush, I saw that it was a Colgate toothbrush, so I just assumed that it was always the 360 total that I was picking up. I've never actually seen the whole mouth clean toothbrushes before, never noticed the branding, so I think that's just why I just instantly assumed this was a total toothbrush and I didn't kind of double and triple check. So just something to bear in mind if you are kind of getting really used to these deals popping up every couple of weeks, just to make sure to make note of the really simple things that you should be looking out for. So this particular week, like I just mentioned there, I had 2 75% off coupons from the Colgate.com offers website. One of those was for the 360 advanced manual adult toothbrush, and the other one was for the mouth rinse for 80ml or over. And this week I also had a CVS personalised coupon for $1 off any mouthwash or any other mouthwash. Sorry, was it one? Yeah, it was $1 off any Colgate mouthwash or any other mouthwash. Of course, we were picking up Colgate Total, so that was totally fine for that coupon. So that was an additional $1 off, which was beneficial to be used in this particular deal. So we had $1.50 off in manufacturer coupons with those 2 75 coupons, and another $1 CVS personalised coupon. So the total out of pocket, or the total running total, the running total for this particular promotion for me was $10.48. Like I said, I can't really find a better deal where you go slightly under that, so I always just usually pick up the same deal. The extra bucks we were getting back were $5. My out of pocket when I deducted all of those coupons was $7.98. I was obviously getting $5 back, or should have been getting $5 back. Like I said, I will be returning that and swapping it for a 360 total toothbrush, and so my total should be $2.98 once those the last deal that I'm going to mention in this particular transaction, and I'm going to come on to why I broke the transactions up in just a little bit, was the Lady Speed Stick. This was the 2.3 ounce, and this is in the Invisible Dry Power variety. There was another variety which I believe was Shower Fresh, and this one just looked a little bit more purple and sparkly, so I picked this one up. You all know I'm a lover of anything that looks a little bit sparkly, glittery, etc., and this has a lovely iridescent label on it. I know, taken by such materialistic things. So anyway, this is actually in the fragrance Wild Freesia, so that sounds a little bit nice, or nicer, and I'm sure this has a lovely scent to it. So this was the 2.3 ounce. The 2.3 ounces were on sale for $2.99 this week at CVS. These were originally $4.29 in my store location. It may be slightly different for you. As I said before, a lot of the products which I picked up were actually more expensive when I was buying the regular retail or the regular prices.
So the deal this week on the Lady Speed Stick, you can also get the Men's Speed Stick, which I'm trying to see if I can find it, but I can't. It's usually $4.29 in this store. This week it's on sale everywhere for $2.99, and you are going to get $2 extra back. There's not many left, as you can see here, so I'm going to probably pick this one up. This is the 24-hour invisible dry, so I'm going to go for this one. Make sure that you pick up yours this week before they all sell out. I actually think there's this one as well. This is invisible dry power. Ooh, I'm gonna have to go for this one because it's shiny. So you can go for this one, or you can go for the powder fresh version here.
This was a great deal for this. This was $2.99, and for anyone that we bought, we were also getting 2 extra care books back. I believe that the limit on this one was 1, and that'll be in my shopping list anyway for you to double check just to make sure. And this particular variety, the one that I picked up, had no coupons available to use this week on it, so it was literally an extra care books deal and nothing else. So like I said, these were $2.99. The running total was $2.99, the out of pocket for this particular product, because we were getting extra books but we didn't have any coupons, was also $2.99. And then when we take those 2 extra care books back that we were getting at the end of the receipt, this made this 99 cents out of pocket. So the very last item that I'm going to talk about is also one that I included in a separate transaction. I'm going to tell you why in a moment. In my shopping list, you should have seen that I mentioned this First Response Pregnancy Pro Kit. Now, just to say that obviously not everybody needs a pregnancy test. I don't need a pregnancy test, and I don't know whether anybody else I know needs a pregnancy test. If you do, you could always, you could always donate this to them. I'm probably just gonna maybe sell mine or donate mine. I'm not quite sure yet. But yeah, this is one of those products where you sometimes might think, I really don't need this, but it's gonna help my transaction. That might sound a little bit bad, I don't know, but this particular pregnancy test had a mail-in rebate this week, and this was to try a completely free First Response Pro test kit. Make sure that it is the Pro variety, and to make sure that you know which one this is. This is the one that is again holographic, so it stood out to me.
Okay, so if you're trying to look for the First Response Pregnancy Pro pregnancy test, obviously we are going to be in the feminine care section, and it is this particular one here. As you can see, it does say the spend the 25 and get the 5 extra bucks back. This is on special this week. This is the Pregnancy Pro. It's a little bit more expensive in my shop actually. It's $28.49. In other shops it's about $25. So yeah, I'm spending a little bit more on this, but I am still going to be making a money maker on this, which is great. Just make sure you pick the right one up. It's not obviously this gold one. It's not that one, and it's not the original First Response. It's the First Response Pregnancy Pro, so just make sure you get the correct one, and it's the one that has like the app on the front, and it's in a bit more of a holographic box, so it stands out. There's not many left here. I think there's 1 left, so this deal must have been taken by a lot of people. Yeah, just make sure you.
So this particular week, this was a product again that was a lot more expensive in my store. This was $28.49 in my store, and the regular price of it I think should have been about $25.49, which would have been great. I just picked it up, like I said, because I just couldn't go to a different location this week at CVS, so I picked this up for $28.49. I was a little bit upset at myself for doing that, because you know I do like to sometimes go around the different locations to try and get the best deal, but I picked this up. There was 2 left, so do check the stock on yours as well. I'm not sure whether they stock a lot of these out in their main stock anyway, but that's something just to bear in mind. This was obviously well advertised this week, and I bet a lot of people have already picked this deal up, but this was $28.49. This week we also had a $3 coupon off any First Response, I believe, ovulation kits or pregnancy test kits, and so that was easily just taken off as a $3 deduction. And then we had a mail-in rebate available to us. Now the mail-in rebate that we had was from, I think, Inmar Rebates, and this was to try a totally free First Response Pro pregnancy test kit. Now I wouldn't say that it was to try a totally free one in terms of how much CVS was charging for it. Obviously I said this was $28.49, you usually should find it for $25.49, so do check out the prices in your local CVS to make sure that you know exactly how much it costs before you do this deal. And the actual rebate was for up to the price of $22, so obviously that's not going to cover the full $28 that I did pay for it, and obviously if I minus the $3 off, that comes to around $25.49, would you believe it? Well, this is obviously going to only cover $22 of that, which is totally fine because we were also getting a 5 extra care book back on this deal. So if we bought one of these pregnancy test kits, we would get 5 extra care books back. So even though it wasn't as big a money maker picking it up from this location, it was still a money maker, and I believe it was around still a $2 money maker for me because I was paying pretty much $3 more than it should have cost. The money maker originally was going to be around $5, which would have been great for kind of absorbing the cost of a lot of the outstanding costs that we spent on other products in this deal, in the shopping list this week. But you know, nevertheless, it's still a money maker, around $2 for me to pick this product up. I personally picked this up in my in a separate transaction. And the reason why I did this for this particular product is because the outstanding cost of it, or the out-of-pocket cost for it, was still so great even using that coupon, and bearing in mind that the rebate was obviously something that was going to turn up afterwards in the mail. Those can sometimes take up to about 8 to 10 weeks, so you do need to make a note of this and make sure that you do receive that and follow up if you don't. Just keep all the information on hand so that you jog your memory about it and don't forget about it. So that's one of the worst things to do with mail-in rebates, that you forget about them and then you don't receive them, because then you're not making a good deal. You shouldn't have picked it up in the first place because you wouldn't have necessarily chosen to do that if you weren't having a rebate, if you didn't have a rebate on it. And so just make sure that you keep track of all the rebates if you do send mail-in rebates in. Some people don't like mail-in rebates for that particular reason, but I think as long as you keep organised with everything and make sure you send everything in by the date that it states on the form, then you should really have no problems with them. I have so far, touch wood, had no problems with any mail-in rebates. So I did this in a separate transaction because I paid completely out of pocket for this, minus the $3 coupon, because I know that I'm going to get the cash back via the mail-in rebate in cash, not in any other form of money. So it's not coming back to me in extra care book, it's coming back to me in cash. So as soon as I get that mail-in rebate check, or whether it's a Visa prepaid gift card, that's cash that I can spend anywhere, and so that's easily just gonna totally reimburse me for that out-of-pocket cost. So just bear that in mind. So I did this in a separate transaction just so I could keep note, or just so I could be more aware of it, and also so that I had a receipt that was kind of void of anything else that I could send in as the original receipt to the mail-in rebate company. Now you don't need to do that, I just like to do that sometimes if there's a lot of other things on the receipt and you just want to keep things simple and easy. If you had have included this in the rest of your transaction, that's totally fine, but do bear in mind that you would have had to send that full receipt in as the original receipt with this mail-in rebate. Now I also did that as a separate transaction because I didn't have enough extra care books in total. Yes, I had 45, but I didn't have enough to cover this and everything else that I got with the out-of-pocket that I had to spend, and so I just wanted to kind of keep that separate and not make my out-of-pocket huge in the one transaction, just so I could keep more keep it more organised in my mind of where the money was coming and going from, if that makes any sense. So I did do that in a separate transaction. Of course I got the 5 extra care books back anyway in that separate transaction, which I could then use on the second transaction. Technically I didn't, I just used that and added that to my the amount that I can use for next week. So that's just something to bear in mind. If you want to do it in 2 separate transactions, you're more than welcome to. If you just want to do it in the same transaction, you're more than welcome to do that as well. If you like to keep your bulk CVS receipts on hand for future reference or anything like that, you may want to separate the two, just so you don't have to send that original receipt off to the mail-in rebate company and you've still got it for your records. It's basically whatever is more preferable to you. So like I said at the beginning, I said I originally made 29 extra care books back on both of these transactions. Obviously $5 came from the first response pregnancy test transaction, and then the other $24 came from the last transaction that I did did with everything else on it. However, I should have made $34 in extra care bucks back, and that's because of the Colgate Total purchase, where I said I purchased the wrong toothbrush and I should have got an additional 5 extra care bucks back there, but I didn't I didn't double check the receipt in the store, and so I wasn't aware of that at the time that I left the store, so I didn't do that right then and there, or exchange it right then and there, but I will be going back tomorrow to make sure that I do complete that exchange and get that 5 extra. Now I had 45 extra care bucks in total that I used on this deal. Like I said, I did want to kind of pretty much get rid of $10 worth of extra care bucks, and that's just because I had a surplus amount that I don't really need that many. I never usually spend that much in terms of an out-of-pocket cost, and that's why I made the out-of-pocket cost on this particular transaction a little bit higher, so I could take away some of those extra bucks. And another reason why I do that is because extra bucks have a month to expire. If you don't use those extra care bucks within that month, then they will expire, and that's another reason why I don't like to have a lot of extra care bucks just kind of sitting around doing nothing, because then you increase your chances of, you know, not using the right ones that are about to expire. That has happened to me before, which I don't like to admit, but it has, so I do want to bear that in mind and let you all know that, just so that you are aware of that and that you don't have that same thing happen to yourself. So yes, so I used those $45, and I had an outstanding cost of, I believe, around $4 to $5, which again is a little higher than what I would like, but I did need to bear in mind that I was getting those $2.50 back as far as the rebate that I was getting from the Cadbury chocolate deal, so that was going to lower my out-of-pocket to $2.50. And like I said again, with the pregnancy test kit, we were also getting a $1.71 moneymaker for that, and so yes, we were spending the money out of pocket, so like I said, the $5, but we were getting $2.50 back from the Cadbury deal in a rebate, and we were also making a $2 moneymaker from the first response pregnancy test kit in terms of a rebate a couple of weeks down the line. And so yes, I spent the $5 in cash, however that's around $4.50 that we will be getting back in rebates, and therefore I really only spent around 50 cents out of pocket in terms of cash value. And then of course I got $29 back in extra care bucks, should be 34, will be 34 tomorrow when I exchange that. Please give me a thumbs up if you found this helpful to you in any way. I know my chatty hauls are always very long, and I know a lot of you don't want to stay around for that, but even if you just kind of click through the deals really quickly and see what I picked up, then that's totally fine. And also I do apologise that this video was a little bit more rambly and a little bit more maybe muddled than usual, because I haven't been feeling too well, but I really wanted to get this up for you. I hope that hasn't deterred too much from the kind of the value that you've got out of the video. So yeah, I hope you have a good night as always, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!